obviously you had your pro debut back in August last year, and it wasn't the pro debut start that everyone sort of dreams of. Like, what sort of like space did that put you in mentally? Because like a lot of people would probably lose their first pro fight and think.
So I was sleeping outside the gym in my van for a little bit, and then going back to work.
Some man they wanna chat shit till I knock 'em ain't like I'm Jack Shaw. Rolls hat, rolls stack, my flow sharp like a hacksaw. Getting off.
I got matched up in March. She pulled out, so I didn't actually end up fighting till like June, July time. So I had all of that time with like no money. So it was, it was really added a lot of pressure.
Yeah. No money and no progression, like it feels
Yeah.
Happy days. Welcome back to the Tanked Up Podcast. Today we're joined by Steph Evans, who's fighting this weekend at Samurai Fighting Championship 1. How are you doing? You right?
My weight is good, which is nice for me because I'm usually stressed. It's panic stations. But yeah, no, weight is on point. I feel great actually. Like usually my weight's a little bit higher, and I feel really like fucked walking around. Like, but I feel great. So
is it like a bit more of a relief being pro with the weight than amateur, because you can't really have like the same tolerance, can you, when you're an amateur same day weigh in? Because it's weigh in day before, is it?
Yeah.
I used to thought I was terrible. Amateur, I used to be like the sauna. Yeah, take it, only got a kilo or a pound, and I've been there 3 kilos over in the morning. So I was terrible for it, but
Is it? Yeah.
This is the lightest you've probably been, I expect, don't you?
probably, yeah. Well, since before COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Toughest fight for you, really big, or big, maybe not. Yeah, toughest fight, biggest fight. For those who don't know, winner will get a PFL Europe contract to go into the £100,000 tournament.
Yeah.
Does that add any pressure? Do you feel any more nervous because of that, or because of the opponent, or are you just trying to look at it as...
Do you know, stylistically, I don't think it's the toughest fight I've had. So, yeah, I'm quite confident in that sense. I think this is a really good fight for me, style-wise. Obviously, she's a kickboxer, I'm a grappler, so it's who can do what they do better. So I'm quite confident in that sense. But obviously, yeah, fighting for a contract with PFL is like a lot of added pressure. I've given up my job for this. Not given up, I'm on a sabbatical, but I've put a lot on this. There's a lot riding on it,
Sacrificed a lot.
Yeah, I'll have to go back to work with my tail between my legs.
Was it hard to make that decision to say I'm going to take like time off to go and pursue my dreams, or was it?
Yeah, really hard. I love my job. I'm the best job in the world, being a firefighter. So it was hard to leave. And obviously when you've got we've got mortgage, bills, all of these things that you've got to pay for every month, and then you're just going to go like for a year, potentially without pay. Because the beginning of the year, I got matched up in March. She pulled out. So I didn't actually end up fighting till like June, July time. So I had all of that time with like no money. So it was, it was really added a lot of pressure.
Yeah. No money and no progression, like it feels like.
Yeah.
Your start in fighting was probably it was a lot different to everyone else. Obviously, you didn't get into it at a young age. You had a bit of a different career path before that. Obviously, played professional or semi-professional. Talk about your athletic career beforehand. What you did. Talk about obviously your rugby career. Now you ended up then just knocking down the end and then going to fighting.
Back when I was playing rugby, no women were professionals. Nobody was getting paid for it. If you played for Wales, it ended up actually like costing you money. You had to pay for your travelling expenses. You had to pay for kit and things like that. So when I was playing for the Ospreys, we'd pay for our own kit package every year. So nobody was getting paid, but sort of probably that was where it was going, like where it is now. So that was my goal. But yeah, I started doing a bit of judo and a little bit of I say a bit of judo. I went to one judo class and realised it was not for me. And then that sort of got me into jiu-jitsu.
And how old was you then when did your first jiu-jitsu class?
24? 23, 24, yeah.
How old are you now?
30.
30.
23 probably.
It's quite late to start though, isn't it? Because
yeah.
like I turned pro at 20.
Yeah.
So, and you think you didn't do your first session until 24. It's normal. People do it. We've done many people starting so late and then ended up sort of where you are as a pro, looking to make a career out of making hopefully enough money where you can do it as a living.
I think a lot of it has to do with, obviously, I played rugby since I was like 13, 14. So you have a bit of that tenacity that I think is hard to find in women. So I wasn't, afraid of getting hurt. I was getting hurt for 18 minutes every week, So yeah, I think that was the biggest part of it. I think a lot of women start and quit because
it's tough.
It's tough, yeah. Coming from a rugby background, that put me in a good stead. And then I think grappling wise, I just took to it quite well. I think I had my blue belt after like 6 or 7 months of grappling. I had my first competition like 3 weeks after I started training, and I won. And then I just kept entering competition after competition every week. I remember one weekend I competed on the Sunday in the British Open. I won that, double gold. And then the following Saturday I went down to the Southend Open. I won gold in that. And then at the Welsh Open on the Sunday, and I won gold in that.
You had the bug for it straight away.
So then I had my blue belt after I think 6 or 7 months. And I think I was a second row playing rugby, so scrummaging, rucking. I had a good bit of movement and base, low to the ground, So I think I had a little bit of a head start.
Well, look at Volkanovski.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it sounds cliche, but I think he started fighting. He didn't start until he was 18, 19, and he just played. I know rugby league's a little bit different, but But he even says now that a lot of the stuff, or a lot of the habits he had from rugby league did transfer over. Like you said, the physicality, you're not afraid to get hurt.
Yeah.
You have the running around the field for 80 minutes. You've got to have some sort of level of fitness about you, especially you play at, you're not like you was playing local level, Division 5, at a good level. How did you go from grappling to MMA? Because even that's a big difference, especially without sounding sexist. Even for a girl, there's thousands of girls. That's just more than thousands, but there's a lot of girls that do grappling.
Yeah.
Probably not so many. Probably a small percentage of those who start grappling end up transferring over to MMA. I mean, we look at even in the gym, for the 10 girls that's on the mat, only 2 or 3 of you do MMA. So how did you decide? Was it just kind of like, the buzz of grappling, I want something a little bit more? Or was it just like naturally the boys in the gym were fighting and it was like, I'll have a go at that?
No, I never wanted to do it. Never. I've always said I wanted to just be world champion grappler, and that was it. Because I'm like one of these people, I only want to do it if I'm going to be like the best at it. And if I know that that's not going to happen, I'll just do something else. So I just wanted to grapple, and that was that. And then Frango, Richard Williams, he was fighting on Cage Warriors at the time, and he was our MMA coach, and he was nagging, just come and give it a go, just for a bit of fitness. And I was like, no, I don't want to get punched in the face. That's not me. I've never been in a fight in my life, outside of the gym. It's not, I've never punched anyone in the face. And I went once, and that was it. I went once for a little bit of extra fitness. That was it. I was hooked.
So obviously you say you've got that mindset, you think you want to be the best in the world if you're going to do it. Do you feel like that about MMA then?
Yeah. Obviously I'm realistic. I'm 30 now, only on my 3rd pro fight. You need a lot less, I think, to make it big time, fewer pro fights to make it big time than you do as a woman than you do as a man. But I know I'm probably not going to be a UFC world champion, But I think I've got a good chance that I could, when I get into PFL, win the PFL tournament, and that will put me into the American PFL tournament. So long-term goals, that would be what I'd want to do, is to win the PFL Europe and then win the American PFL, and then I'd be happy with that, So a world champion in that sense. But I'm realistic in the sense that I'm probably never going to be a UFC world champion. I just don't have the time.
They do say though, don't they?
Age-wise.
They do say that obviously you was 24 when you started, so what did you have your first fight at, 25, 26?
26.
So they do say, don't they, that more often than not though, the people who start later can end up fighting for longer. Like me, I had my first fight at, fucking 16. So like obviously by the time I'm 30, I'd have been fighting and getting punched in the head for 14 years.
But you forget I played rugby for 10 years before that.
Yeah, that's true.
I suppose that takes its toll, doesn't it?
I already put my keys in the fridge.
Yeah. But let's just forget about that. For you, like at 30, you've been fighting 4 years.
Yeah.
So, there is a difference. I think Stylebender was the same. I think he didn't have his first fight till 18, and obviously he's 30-something now, and he's like under a fight deep.
Yeah.
And like you said, he still feels like he could fight for another 10 years. So don't sell yourself too short just yet.
No. And women peak, athletically, women peak a lot later than men. I think for women, it's like 34 to 36. So...
A lot can happen in a few years, can't it?
Yeah, a lot can happen in a few years.
Yeah, but when you think you didn't have, it probably, was it 5 years ago, already had a fight, And like you said, the talent pool for a woman to get to the top is a little bit smaller probably than it is for men. Had you had any interest in MMA before going to the gym? Would you ever watch UFC, ever watch fights as a kid? Or was it
No.
that MMA class was your first taste of...
Yeah, my dad watches a lot of boxing, so I'd watch the boxing with him, but it was more like just to watch the boxing with my dad. I didn't really like...
What do they think? Like your parents, what are they
it's tough on my mum. My mum watching me fight and she's fucking...
Yeah,
she's petrified, but I can
my
imagine if she had to watch my sister have a fight, it would be but it's that stigma in it. Boys naturally you think, the boys will be boys, they tough boys, they'll be right. Whereas if I said, Alice is going to jump in the cage and I'll have an MMA fight, she would be like, no chance.
Yeah, my dad will not come and watch me fight. He's like, I'll have like 10 missed calls off him when I get out, and once he knows I've won, he wants to watch it, and he's like my biggest critic, and I'm like, you don't even know what's going on. But he's once he knows I won, he'll watch it.
Yeah.
And even if I lose, he'll still want to watch it, but he won't come and watch it live.
My mum's the same, exactly.
He said, if you win, you might still like get absolutely battered, and I don't want to have front row seats to watch that happen. Yeah. Which is fair enough. Like, I suppose a dad watching his little girl like
he wants to protect the
get
daughter,
punched in the face is not.
My mum's exactly the same. She never been to watch any of my fights live, and I remember for like the 12 amateurs and up until probably my 6th pro. She was like, if you fucking come home with any cuts on your face, you out and all that. Because she was trying to put me off doing it, like. Oh. And I remember I had the one fight, and I got cut in the one fight, and I come home and it wasn't that bad, and she was like, whatever. And then I remember it's like the next fight, she was like, what are you gonna do in this next fight? I was like, he's a good judo boy, man. He says he's a judo Olympian. So I was like, I might have to stand up a little bit. And I remember I was about to leave because it was in Newport. I was about to leave the obstacle thing, and she probably to give me a kiss, and she was like, she said, if you got to stand and bang, mine, you stand and bang. Don't worry about me. She said, if you got to stand and bang. And ever since,
I love Lisa.
Ever since, she's like, every fight now, she's like, what are you going to do this fight? And I'm like, I have to stand a bit. That's all right. She got her head around it now. Like, she's got her head around it. This is what I do. And she still is nervous. She hates watch. She'll never watch it live. The fight I lost, she's never even put it on. She come off Facebook when I lost. She come on Twitter. But she will, she'll watch it if I win. But she have come to terms with it now. I think that, this is what I'm doing now. So, you know what I mean? But
I think my mother would have hated it. She coming to watch me play rugby, she would stand with her back to the pitch. Just she only came to watch 2 games or 3 games of rugby. My father was there every week, and she'd bring her down a couple of times. and she'd like stand talking to the other mothers and the other parents.
Trying to take your mind off
She'd catch the odd like glimpse, and she'd go, "Oh, I saw you score that try," and I was like, "No, ma'am, that was Jess." Me and my friend Jess had the same hair, and she'd always get us mixed up. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to cope with it. I got a little girl; she's 2 now, and like if I ever thought of her fighting in the future, I don't think I could deal with it. Like, it must be so hard being a parent.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We was talking before and about like there's a bit of a stigma around it, really, around women, not just fighting, women in sports. I remember probably going back as recent as like 3 years ago in a gym, there wasn't any women in the gym, whereas now there's probably 10, 15 girls on the mats. How does it feel to kind of be part of that movement, not just in the gym, but in general, where like it's becoming more common now that like young teenage girls are wanting to get into boxing and MMA, whereas 10 years ago, like no one even knew what, like not many boys were getting into it, let alone girls.
Yeah. Do you know, it's great. I was in sort of the small group of girls that walked into a gym on their own, you know? Like, I remember walking into Nails that first day, and I was on my own. Only girl in there, not one other girl on the mat. And I trained there for about 3 years with no other women. And then when I came up to our gym, I was the only woman there for a while, wasn't I? Like,
yeah,
maybe 2 years or 18
well, it's
months.
it's probably only the last 12, 18 months that we've had girls come in, haven't we? Obviously Lauren Wolf, Talia come up with Grant and stuff like that. But I think it's probably the fact that there was a girl in the gym.
Yeah.
Made it a little bit easier for everyone. And it does, like a snowball effect, doesn't it?
Yeah. And, so it's really nice. You know, you see girls come and go. I've seen girls come and go, and they'll come for 1 or 2 sessions, go, this isn't for me, and leave. And usually that's the assumption when a girl comes to train. It's like, oh, this is really nice, but they won't last. So it's really nice that we've got a good group of girls now that have really stuck to it, and like Lauren's gonna go far, you know, like Lauren's not going anywhere, so that's nice. I've got a good training partner. So it is nice to train with other women. But I think it has having trained with just men for so long has put me in a real good position, like physicality wise. Like, I think
it's very, I agree with you, because I always remember, like, as a kid, when I first started, we never had no kids class. So, like, me and Truth were always just forced to go and train with the men. Well, Truth started the kids, but like he was one of those who picked it up really fast, and my old man was kind of like, just jump in with the men. Yeah. And like, because you're never, as a 15, 16-year-old kid, even 17, 18, you're not ever going to out physical or out strength a full-grown man. You have to rely on your technique. And I remember me and him being like 15, 16, subbing men on pure technique. And I suppose it's similar for you. Like, you're never going to or very rarely you're going to go in and out strength a bloke the same size as you, or a bloke who's as big. But it probably, like you say, not only toughen you up, but it forces you to reinforce your technique a little bit as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you know if you do land something, it's like, well, that was nothing more than just good technique and good timing. So how do you find it though? Like, because I know you got Lauren now, but you are forced pretty much to spar and train with men every day, which I can imagine can be like tough mentally, physically.
Do you know? Obviously, I'm a bit bigger than Lauren as well, so especially wrestling and things like that, when we're put into groups, when we're usually not in the same group. I am usually with just the boys, and it depends. It depends on the day, you know. Like, you win. It's the same. I suppose it's the same with everyone. You win some, you lose some, don't you? But I do find, depending on the group I'm in, like sometimes, like, especially in the mornings, like you and Rory and Brett, and I'm just like drowning for an hour. It's horrendous.
What do your friends think of it? Like, obviously, all your friends come and watch you fight. Are they like blood hungry now, like everyone else's friend, and it's just like, fucking smash her, Steph? Or are they a bit like, well, your dad would be a bit like, oh, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends who comes to watch. My friend Jade boxes, so she's like,
she gets it, like,
oh, she's so funny. Like, she's like, you can hear her on any video of any fight. She's like a mad woman, like, oh, Steph screaming. But my other friends are quite like, they'll just sit like quiet, like
Nervous.
yeah.
So you're from down Swansea way then, is it?
Talbot, yeah.
So you've moved up now, have you, to train?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
shows,
So I had a van. I was living in, like, still living in my van. I wasn't living in my van. I was working 4 on 4 off. So I was sleeping outside the gym in my van for a little bit, and then going back to work because it was just like fuel was just ridiculous. The fuel went up to like 190 a litre. I just could not afford to drive back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, and then obviously I left work and I met Martin.
Martin McDonald, that is, for anyone.
Yeah, Martin McDonald.
Mr. Pink.
Mr. Pink. And I moved in with him and I was like, so I've sold the van now. And yeah, so I just live up here now. We bought a house in Absalary.
Oh, tidy. It makes sense though, doesn't it? Because it's probably a bit of like friction in it on the travel and stuff like that.
Oh gosh, you know, you hit one bit of traffic and you're 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
Especially like, so for like Brett and the boys still do it now, but we were all driving up together and it was an hour and a half sometimes.
Easily, isn't it?
Each way to the train, and then especially on like a Monday and a Thursday when you do that twice, it's
draining.
Even when you're not driving, you're sitting in the back of the car and you're sitting in this position for like an hour and a half, then you've got to get up and train straight after that. It's just horrible, isn't it? You're all stiff, you feel tired.
You'll never get Brett up here, though, will you?
Brett will never move up there. No, I don't think his missus... You know, I think he would. I don't think
Carrick.
I don't think his missus would move, and you can't blame her. Like what is there? Because there is nothing to do up here.
Nothing to do.
When you've lived in like I mean, I don't know where in Swansea they live, but Swansea's a big place and there's lots to do. It'd be like moving up here from Cardiff. It's a different lifestyle. You know what I mean? And
I agree.
I'm not knocking his missus. I'm not knocking his missus at all. I wouldn't.
No.
Because it'd be like someone saying to me now, "Oh, move to Swansea," and I'd be like, "Fucking no, I like it up here." Do you know what I mean?
Love it.
No, I wouldn't. I can't.
So much to do.
No, I can't fucking stand it down there. I can't stand Cardiff. I can't stand Swansea. I like just being in the quiet. There's nothing to do. Like, but
honestly, it was a real shock to the system.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Larry. Like, obviously, Talbot's right in the middle of Swansea and Cardiff. So you've got the best of both worlds. And Bridgend is like quite good if you want to go to the shops or whatever. So it's there's so much to do. Like if you want to go out for food, it's like me and Martin would just go into Swansea and then decide when we get there. There's so much to do. And here, it's got to be like a whole planned thing. If you want to go out on a date, it's got to be like...
Especially on a Saturday, everybody goes fucking fully booked.
I know. Yeah, it's got to be
At least there's less distractions though in fight camp.
Yeah.
At least you can just plonk yourself in the house and just not worry about...
And then you've got to think about how you're going to get back from everywhere. Like if a taxi from Swansea to home was like 20 quid. So
can't even get
if you want to go
taxis.
out on a night out, great. So here, if you want to go out on a night out, it's like
the fucking full
you're going
lot.
to the Garou or all that. Like, that's it. You know?
What, so you got to fight Saturday now. You win that, you get a contract.
Yeah.
What is the plan then? Is it to go... Do they want you to fight on the Dublin card in December, or are they looking to wait till the tournament? Because that wouldn't be
the Dublin card.
So would that be a tournament fight, or you don't even know, or would they wait till next year to do a tournament?
No, the tournament starts January.
But they would try and get you.
But they've said Dublin, December 8th. So they've said with this win will put me on the December card in Dublin. On the undercard, I think it's the finals.
Right. Yeah.
It's the finals of this year's tournament.
And then,
so I'll be on the prelims of that.
So will a win you qualify you for the tournament next year guaranteed then? Or will you have to win in December?
I'm not sure.
But you'll get a multi-fight contract.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, so I would assume I'll just go into the tournament in January either way. But I'm not sure. They haven't sort of sent the terms over yet.
So do you know how the tournament works? Is it a fight? Is it like a fight every 6 weeks like it is with the PFL?
Yeah, it's the same sort of system. So,
what they do
every
like
6 to 8
February,
weeks.
April.
Yeah, every 6 to 8 weeks there's a fight, and then it's sort of like a knockout basis. Then, if you lose and you're out of the tournament, they'll still put you on sort of undercard fights, I think, and I think you're allowed to be released to fight on other shows then as well. So.
How do you think? Because obviously, when do you last fight? In June, July?
July.
So July, October, December. That's quite a busy schedule. So do you think that this will put you in good stead, ready for if you do go into the tournament next year? Because you are. Yeah. I think that's one thing people don't like take into consideration. Is it sounds great, and they'll fight for £100,000 tournament, or for the fight and win you get $1 million. It's like, yeah, but you got to like make weight and fight
4 times.
4 times, and that's not like March, August. Or that's like every 6 weeks, because they do like a season, don't they? I think they don't have any fights from between like
Yeah.
I know the PFL. I think they have their last fight in like September, and then they don't do no fights till like the January then, do they?
Yeah. So the finals are December for the European one, so I don't know if they're a little bit more spaced out.
Perhaps they'll run it throughout the year.
So yeah, I think the last one, the semi-finals for the women's flyweight division were weekend before last, the 30th of September, and then the finals for the flyweight division are the 8th of December.
So they don't do like
they've got a little bit of a gap in between them. But I think that varies. I think some of them are 6 weeks gap, some of them might be 12 weeks. Do you know what I mean? It depends.
Is that a lot of pressure then, knowing that you can't really take your foot off the gas, can you, straight after the fight then? You've got to kind of stay in camp, haven't you?
I think I need that. You've seen how I can put some food away. Like.
Right.
So, yeah, I think if I haven't got another thing coming up straight away, I just get too heavy.
So it's probably the best format then.
Yeah.
So imagine do you think, so you say it starts in January, or like would you fight December then January, or
that's a lot,
do you think they'll try and space it out a bit?
No, I think they say the tournament starts in January.
Right.
That's like they make in the roster in January. They're deciding who's going to be in the tournament and things. January, the cut-off to get in the tournament is January, I think. Which is what they told Dickie last year when we tried to get me on there last year. So they said the cut-off for the tournament's January. So I think the actual first fight is like February time.
That's not too bad then.
It's fine, yeah.
And again, it's like you can have your Christmas off, and then you've got no choice, and you've got to get straight back
I'm having mince pie every day.
Mince pie and a box of celebrations for breakfast. Yeah. You keep saying about my old man, you and him got a bit of a mad relationship in terms of like, I think like Dickie would probably still have A if she didn't join the gym 3 years ago. Like,
stressing him out.
Yeah, she stresses him out, fucking terrible. How have you found like having him, because he's sort of like your manager, I suppose, now, kind of thing?
Do you know what? Like, obviously I've moved up here. All my family's down in Port. He's almost like my replacement dad for up here. So we do have a bit of a relationship, like we bicker and
like a teenage daughter and a father relationship.
Bicker all the time. With like crosswords about my weight. And I'm crying and he's like, "Don't you fucking cry at me. It's your own fault." Obviously he's my coach, he's my manager, and he's like my gym dad, so yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
He's to be fair though, you haven't had to keep on to this camp, have you?
No,
you've been pretty switched on with it this camp.
Yeah.
So.
And the last one wasn't too bad either.
No, the last one was alright. Alright, like
it was alright.
Got a couple
there's a story behind that, and it sounds like.
Got a couple of quick fire questions. Favorite fight to date between amateur, pro?
I think. I don't know. Probably my first fight in Bahrain.
In the IMAF.
The IMAFs. That was probably my favourite. So I won second round Von Flew. And then people were coming up to me in breakfast the following morning going, "Were you the girl that did that Von Flew?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." But yeah, just like the whole experience of being in Bahrain and just the way that you were like treated out there, like it was like a big production, you know. They had a whole opening ceremony. We had like police escort from the hotel to the stadium. it was mad. Like the hotel they put us in was amazing. It was just like the money that was put into it was, obviously we had to pay as well. But the money that was put into it was just massive, you know.
See that with all like the Saudi sort of stuff.
Yeah,
It's mad the amount of money they're putting into it.
God, it was so good. So yeah, the first fight on that was probably my favourite.
We didn't touch on your amateur because you've only had, this will be your third pro. You had quite a big amateur career for a
7 and 2.
And that's some quite big fights. I think you've done the IMAF in Bahrain.
Yeah.
Did you do any other IMAFs?
No.
A couple of big fights on
Cage Warriors Academy. Yeah, so I fought for Cage Warriors Academy Southeast for the title against Savannah Sirik. That was a bantamweight.
Oh, yeah, them days are gone.
The day before weigh-in. They do day before weigh-in in amateur in England, which I thought was really good that I had a couple of those because they got me a little bit used to seeing what it was like to cut weight. I know people say you shouldn't cut weight for amateurs, but then I think you go into your first pro fight and have to cut water, and it'll be it's a bit of a shock then, you know. Whereas it wasn't. I'd done about 3 of them. I fought for a Budo title. I won that. That was 61. So 2 fights.
And days are gone. And
I know.
You say only one, and the days are gone.
You still teasing it? Are you still fancy going down the weight, or
it's
is
never
it done with that?
That'll never happen. No. But yeah, so I did quite some big amateur, and then some big amateur fights down on Dickie's Cage Warriors Academy show. I fought Casey Blake. That was
a good match, because she was both IMAF medalists, wasn't it? It was teammates and roommates or something as well.
Yeah,
like.
so we went to Bahrain together. We were in the same room. We shared a room for the week, and we like hit it off. And now I talk to her all the time still. And we came out of COVID, and she had signed up for the Cage Warriors Academy, and it was looking like we were about the same weight. It was looking like we weren't going to get two matchups at that weight, like for either of us. Like, so we ended up fighting each other. It was
that
bizarre.
A weird experience?
Yeah, it was weird.
To be fair though, you didn't fight like friends at
No,
PFL. I remember watching a
yeah.
fight. You know, it was a proper fight. Like you would never think that you were friendly because you just went
that
in
was
there.
Maybe actually probably one of the best.
It was a good
performances.
scrap,
Like
yeah.
one of my best fights. Like
But she's good level.
Yeah,
Casey.
she is really good. That might be my favorite fight. Actually, I enjoyed that one. It was good.
Want to touch just before we finish off with what's going on the weekend. Obviously, you had your pro debut back in August last year, and it wasn't the pro debut start that everyone sort of dreams of. Like for you, you've been waiting a while to turn pro. It was a big Cage Warriors to come back to Wales. They put you on the main card. You had all the promo. Obviously, it didn't go your way, which is a tough go of it for your pro debut because probably 95% of people win their first pro fight, don't they? Because you get given a gimme. Obviously, you didn't get a gimme. You got given a girl you'd fought before.
She beat me in 43 seconds the first time. So
she's a good level as well.
Good. Yeah.
She's gone on and won a couple of fights since, hasn't she?
Yeah.
What sort of like space did that put you in mentally? Because like a lot of people will probably lose their first pro fight and think, fucking hell, is this kind of like what am I going to do here? Do you know what I mean? Because it's not easy. Where was you mentally after that? Was you disappointed with a loss, but did you kind of ever think, oh fuck this?
Do you know a lot had gone wrong in like the last couple of weeks of camp leading up to that fight, and I think just mentally I was not in the best like headspace. I think after it, I sort of come to terms with the fact that I could have put on a much better performance, and it wasn't because I didn't feel like it was because I lacked skill and like talent. It was my head. I think I'd already lost going into it because I'd lost to her before. So I think I sat down and I had a proper think about it and probably wasn't training enough, wasn't making enough sessions because I was working full time. So that was sort of a switch for me. I was like, I've got 2 options here. Either I just knock this on the head and just concentrate on work. I had a really good career path going for me in work. I just got into the pool for USAR, which is Urban Search and Rescue, which is like sort of the best firefighters from Wales get put on like a team, and they go to big like disasters and things, so, you know, like earthquakes and stuff.
Oh wow!
So I just got into the pool to be selected for that. So it was at a bit of a crossroads in my life, and I thought, if I'm going to do this, I've got to put everything into it. So that was when I asked for a sabbatical in work, and moved up here, trained full time. And I think the difference between that first fight and my second pro fight is just like two completely different people. Mentally, the biggest thing is that's the biggest thing for me is mentally the difference.
Yeah. My
eating habits are different. My training habits are different. I enjoy going for a run. That was a lie. I make myself go for more runs. I'm eating a lot better. I'm fueling for training a lot better. I'm not eating things that I want and then starving and training shit. And I've got a real good routine going, and I think mentally I'm much happier, which is I'm not juggling so much. Like, I just feel a lot better. I think I'm two different people from my pro debut to my second pro fight.
I applaud you for taking that jump though, because like that's a big thing to do.
It's terrifying.
Terrifying.
Are you on a time limit with the break with work? Like, have they said this? You got this long before we gotta let your roll go, or is it kind of just like, are they just kind of like take?
It goes on a yearly basis. So I applied. My first year was last January to January coming. I had a meeting with my station manager about 2 months ago, and I applied for next year. So I've got another whole year, and then halfway through next year I'll have a meeting with them again. See if they'll let me. So you can have 3 years guaranteed in your career, but that means that as I'm older, I can't have any more. That's it.
Right.
And then you can get a 4th year on top for like special dispensation. So something like this probably would.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. Obviously,
if I'm,
because PFL pay pretty decent money, and if you end up going from PFL Europe to the main PFL and the tournament.
Yeah.
Go on.
If you win the million, are you going back?
Yeah.
You would, you love the job.
100%. I've said
retire on the million and go back. Later.
Yeah, I've always said that I'll go back to my job. I love it so much. It is the best job in the world, honestly. So I couldn't imagine. And obviously fighting's not a long sport, is it? Like, I don't want to be 40. Million's not going to last you very long, especially in this day and age. So, I would definitely go back to work and just...
She's got to say that now, just in case they listen.
Just in case they fucking watch. That's a great job. It's the best job in the world.
No, it really is.
Yeah, right. No, we don't mind it.
To be fair, everyone who does it says the same.
Next time you see Dickie, ask him. He'll attest for that. It really is the best job in the world.
Yeah.
Final one then. Prediction for the weekend. How do you think the fight will go? And then obviously, let's say where we're going to be in 12 months' time.
So first round finish is what we aim for. Last fight, that's how it went. I'm going to look to shoot a little bit sooner than I did. First round finish is what we always hope for, but I'm planning for a 3-round graft. I think most likely of the scenario is that she's going to be like short. She's short. She's quite strong. The first round probably to take her down is going to be difficult. She's probably going to get back up. She's going to be strong. The takedowns are probably going to be hard. So I plan to just maybe wear her out for the first round and get the takedown and the finish in the second.
12 months from now, obviously, providing all goes well.
We'll be back. I'll have 100k in my pocket. And we'll be going into the American PFL tournament the following January.
That'd be ideal.
That's the plan.
Yeah, if the fire station are watching, I think she's probably going to need about 3 years, to be honest.
Yeah.
Steph, thanks for coming on. If you want to thank any sponsors or anyone, now's your chance, and we'll wrap it up.
I'm going to have to get my phone out.
Yeah, just can't forget no one.
I can't forget anyone. And I forget my own name sometimes. So, Yeah, so big thank you to The Front, Richard Hibbard's restaurant down Aberavon. They've been with me from the start. Element Carbon is my kit sponsor. They're amazing. Lewis Limited, they have been just come on board, and Trust Scaffolding. Countrywide Landscaping, that's my old rugby coach. And so when I made the transition, he got his company to give me like 500 quid at the start of the year for the year, so that he's great. Lauren Allwood, a tattoo. She runs a tattoo shop in our gym. The Garu.
Shout out to Garu.
The Garu.
What's that, the local, is it?
Oh yeah, Joe will take you away one day. He'll change your life.
Oh God, look at it.
Chew gummies. They're really, really good. Pre-workout gummies. Primacare Chiropractics keeps me on the mend, and Flame Protect. So quite a few sponsors.
No wonder you couldn't remember them.
No, I know.
I know. But I think PFL only allowed like 5, so.
Get a bid in, boys.
That's it.
Get a bid in. You're about to have a bid in more for who's going to give the most.
Yeah, I think your camera's gone off.
That one has, yeah. I've got to change it to that one, yeah.
Right, Steph, thank you for coming on. We'll be there Saturday, obviously, but wish you all the best. I'm sure you'll dust her off and around, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Good luck. Hopefully you see Dan Hardy at the end of it, innit?
Yeah, hopefully Dan Hardy's in there and do some paperwork. Thank you all for watching. Me and Joe are repping the Tanked Up t-shirts. We'll have them on sale hopefully within the next 2-3 weeks. So keep an eye on the Instagram page and we'll get I don't know, you'll sort some sort of link out, I'm sure.
Figure it out, innit? Happy days.
And then now we're done. Boom.
Cheers, Steph.
Thank you.